Um, all right. Well, welcome first. Welcome to SIG Compute weekly meeting. Um, the document for the agenda I'll paste in chat here. Please add your name to attendance. And I don't think we have anyone new. Oh, maybe we do. Does someone want to introduce themselves before we start?
Yeah, hi. My name is Punit. This is my first C compute meeting. So we started using Qbot, and I was also contributing to seek Kubernetes, some of the releases, and I wanted to. We started using the Qbot community so that I started attending the meeting. This is my first meeting, and also we have some. Uh, Web, which is really requested. We don't know, even we don't know how to go with the process and who are in the compute seg. And I just wanted to know, and also I wanted to assign some of these reviewers for our web, where we wanted to support for the new architecture called PPC, which was really was yeah, they stopped supporting the architecture very back years. So we came just like an complete team wanted to work on this one and for the Qbert new architecture called Power Architecture. So we actually belongs to IBM, and also I work as an partner engineer to Red Hat. This is my introduction.
Well, welcome. Do you want to discuss this web here? Is it open already?
Yes, we have opened it, and we have created a issue as well. And we don't know who I wanted to add as the reviewers. If I get some name, I'll just add and I'll go through and I'll talk to them, and we can discuss on that path as well.
Could you
If,
maybe, sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
even we wanted to contribute to the community. I wanted to start with some good first issues so that I'll be in sync with the community, how the processes and everything before we start with the web.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah, can you paste the web maybe in the chat or in the document?
Sure, I'll do that right away.
And yeah, I guess we can first read it and maybe talk about it next meeting.
Sure,
Um,
that'll be great. Thank you.
awesome. I see one point in open floor. I guess we can jump to that. I don't know. There's no name with it.
Oh, sorry. That's me here. Yeah, the point I wanted to discuss is I I felt a need for like having some sort of way to track feature gate dependency. I mean, at first I opened the issue on and someone picked it up and opened a pull request too. But at first I was thinking maybe this could be something right within code, but I think it was Itamar, yes, I think it was Itamar who mentioned that it doesn't necessarily need to be in code. Maybe we can document it too. But the point I'm trying to make is that right now the way we do things, it's often not clear how different feature gates depend on other feature gates, and I see there's a risk of accidentally whether it's a risk in code for not properly um protecting code paths with both feature gates for the dependent feature gate and the your feature gate. And there's even a risk for accidentally betaing a feature gate that has a dependency that's alpha because, at least for me, I know most about, the PR that I'm working on. And even if I'm using code or using a feature that is not yet GA'd, later down the line, a month or two later, I might not remember that, oh, this feature I use to implement my feature is not yet GA'd. So I think that this is a risk that we should take a look at, whether it's adding a field in a web that asks web authors to say, okay, which feature gates does your web depend on? Or whether that's something we add right inside code where in the featuregate.go file, you also list the dependencies of the feature gate. So maybe it's also easier for end users to know which other feature gates they have to enable this feature gate. Because I don't know, for me sometimes like it it's basically just trial and error if I'm trying to enable a new feature gate. Like I look at logs, see errors, why this isn't working, and the reason is, oh, I have to enable another feature gate to get this to work. I don't know, thoughts?
I think eventually that would be potentially ideal. Like there's other competing ideas at the moment with the capabilities tracking VEP even, um, and potentially kind of encoding required feature gates in that for particular kind of capabilities and stuff. So yeah, potentially it might be. I think it would help in the issue if we had some concrete examples though, that we could point
Yeah,
to that
sure.
trip users up and stuff.
I gave an example of vGPU, for example. vGPUs use the libvirt hooks and server and client enabled, and I think it was Lubo who like mentioned he was looking at this PR again. He mentioned, hey, this code here is protected by your vGPU live migration feature gate, but shouldn't this part also be protected by this other feature gate that you depend on? And it was completely missed. It's not a huge deal in this particular example, but you know, for like vGPUs, for example, I'm not super familiar with libvirt hooks and hook server and client enable. I can definitely see a month or two down the line, I completely forget that this feature that my vGPU feature is using isn't GA yet, and I might move to beta without double checking that this has also been moved to beta.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are many examples. I can easily speak about some that we are currently working on. There's the work that we do for supporting the new NVIDIA hardware that is depending on another like a Web 115, which introduced a different PCI topology that is correlated to the host topology. And then there are multiple dependencies in for example, when enabling DRA. So there's not just one DRA feature gate, but there are a bunch of them. So yeah, I mean, we have it all over the place. I'm pretty sure that the only reason we didn't tackle this is just lack of time or lack of clear idea of how to do it. It's a short version of saying that I'm all for it.
Yep. Oh, and one thing I do want to mention though is I don't know how Kubernetes does it, but I'm pretty sure they don't have at least in code tracking of dependent feature gates. So I remember someone mentioned maybe that's what we can take a look at. I think Kubernetes does do it via just documenting the dependent feature gates instead of having it in code. I don't know if we want to go our own route or copy Kubernetes.
Yeah, I mean, in Kubernetes, it's definitely not done through code, and there's no dependencies. Like it's up to you. If you enable that, and then you need to enable five more, then it's totally on the admin. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good decision that they made.
So I have some thoughts on this topic, having worked a little bit in the Kubernetes side. So the original problem that was described, that hey, when you move a feature gate A that is dependent on feature gate B, and when you move A to beta, uh, what happens to all the code that is dependent and feature gate? B, and that is still in alpha, right? My understanding of this problem being solved in Kubernetes is that they do it via exhaustive testing. So my question is that if beta features have good enough testing capabilities and good end-to-end tests, will this problem be caught in the end-to-end test, that because B has been enabled by default and it has gone to beta and it depends on an alpha field, these tests are not passing in CI?
But in CI, we enable all the tests that we need, um, and then you adjust the test. But in reality, when you are developing your feature, yeah, I'm not sure if tests they're subjective. You just need to do everything so it will pass.
Right. So I think that serves as our documentation point in code, right? You can have the end-to-end test for a beta feature express that I need these dependencies to make all the end-to-end tests pass, and that serves as our documentation and in code, um, you know, dependency thing. My concern is that if we don't follow that route and if we explicitly try to express dependencies in KubeVirt CR or in code somewhere, dependency management is a hard problem. It takes a lot to get it right, and I'm not sure if we want to tackle that problem in KubeVirt.
I think one issue here that's more concerning even to me is that you developed a feature that is dependent on 5 different other features, and you want to graduate, but these features didn't graduate, or they didn't move as fast as you thought they would, and then you're basically blocked. Where is the um, where's the system that tells you that hey, you cannot graduate because all of these needs to be pushed forward as well? And I mean, you need to get this information early enough so you'll be able to adjust your features.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is but that seems to be more of a process problem, right? And not the problem that we need to codify the dependency of features in code, or solve that problem in KubeVirt.
So when you say dependency management is a hard problem, could you clarify what you mean by that? Like, so from what I was thinking, we have featuregates.go in KubeVirt, and there's a struct called featuregates with various fields. What's the issue with having a field in that struct that has a list of all dependencies, and it's the web author's responsibilities to just explicitly capture that?
Yeah, the hard or the challenge with this problem comes with when the dependencies grow over time, right? And then you have dependency A depending on B depending on C, and then somehow it becomes circular, say C depending on A. Like you're getting to a point where expressing this is easy in the list, but then actually validating and having the effect of this qualified in code will be hard to track.
I mean,
At least that's my mental model.
It's just a graph represented essentially as a adjacency matrix, not adjacency matrix. It's essentially just a graph, and
Yeah.
there are well-known algorithms for detecting cycles in a graph and various other things that I mean, I don't follow why in code it would be hard to validate that you don't have a feature gate with a dependency that is in alpha. Like it'll just error out. KubeVirt should just error out if your current feature gate, you mark it as beta and it's dependent on something in alpha. Like the idea is it'll throw an error, prevent that from ever happening, and eliminate the risk right off the bat.
Okay, so what you're saying is this will only work at the KubeVirt CR layer where you are introducing the feature, or then it will also be percolated inside the code where you are making a decision whether some code is protected by this feature gate or not.
So what I'm saying is we add like a new struct where web authors can specify their dependencies, and then we can have a generic code somewhere that does validation, run whatever graph algorithms it needs to run, and whatever A depends on B checks it needs to run, just like a validation step, a generic validation step that all VEPs and feature gates will run to make sure that the feature gate dependencies are, they make sense, because right now A depends on B, B depends on C, and C depends on A. Right now, there's no protection against that. That is what it is right now, and we can solve that problem in code ideally, but even just having a systematic way to document it would still be a step up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think for certain features, the feature gate is not in KubeVirt itself, right? So for example, in DRA, the feature gate is in Kubernetes. So in those cases, this might not help, but for feature gates that are in KubeVirt itself, it makes sense.
Yeah, I just would like to share my thought here. First of all, I agree that if there will be such huge dependency, chain, maybe we should ask ourselves if we are doing it correctly for the specific things. But this is another things. Second of all, I think that we can, as someone was suggesting, just add the the first distance dependencies, and then each web should have its own dependency itself. Of course, I mean, right now, in future, we will not have such problem, because each feature gate will have their own web, so we have the full graph of dependencies. Right now, we can have some problems where you are a particular web can be dependent to a feature gate that has no web because it was created before the web was introduced. This can, in this particular period transition, we can have some problems, but I don't think that. I think that most of the already existing feature gate before the web process has been introduced have been graduated to beta at least, so we should be quite safe there. And the last thing that I think that this can be done by the web agent, but Vladik, maybe better than me if this chain reconstruct can be done by the web agent or not, and how hard is to do that. The web agent can. I am imagining that the web agent can say, "Yeah, oh, you are graduating this, but this dependency that is explicitly described in this particular web, the dependency is not graduating. So just take care. We need an alarm. We don't need a resolution. Then the people can resolve that.
Yeah, that can be done. Yeah. Not just by web agent, but yeah, any agent that can review.
Yeah, of course. I was just thinking about the web agent because it's our assistant right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to discuss this with Itamar. He really has a general idea on how we should manage feature gates. And like I said in the chat, maybe even extend his web on feature gates.
Although the 104 is merged, right? I mean, are we planning to do it in this cycle, or I think this cycle is already?
Yeah, it sounds a bit late, but is it not okay to extend the web that has merged?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so any action items?
I think we're all for it in one form or another. I just need to converge on how exactly we should do it. I would say, yeah. So what do we propose? I mean, we need to converge on some kind of a proposal, and then put it in extending the web 104 or something else. But we definitely need it on some sort of a design proposal.
And I would suggest to talk to Itamar first because he'll definitely have an opinion.
So
Sorry, what web are we planning on extending? 104?
yes. So 104 is was just generally speaking about feature gates. I wonder when we have another time to speak about this. Is it on Tuesday? Yeah. Yeah, we have
What
the Kubernetes web discussion on Tuesday. Maybe this is a good forum there to propose something for that time frame.
Yep, sounds great. I won't be there, but I'm all for the idea. Okay, and with that, there's 3 minutes left. I don't think there's a point. Looking at the tracker, does anybody has anything else?
just regarding the tracker and SIG compute, so everything's still listed as proposed for consideration, but there are PRs that have merged. Once the VEP PR has merged, can we move things to tracked? Or is the bot going to do that for us, Vladik? Or what are we doing?
Yeah, if the PR is merged, then we should move it to tracked. In general, there's a web that sorry, there's the enhancement to the process that Eddie is suggesting that would do this automatically. But yes, I mean, right now we're doing it manually, so we can definitely move it to
That's
track.
cool. I wasn't sure if the agent was doing it. I'll go through and move mine. I'll try and look at the other SIG compute ones and just see if there's more. Yeah, that's
Thanks.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, sounds like an easy add-on for the agent.
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else?
I have one last minute topic. I'm currently working on bringing Web 10 to beta. I just wanted to ask everyone here if, because we are so close to the web deadline, uh, do do folks have any concerns about Web 10 going to beta? If so, I can put a placeholder call sometime next week to discuss that. Uh, And if not, then we can just work asynchronously on that PR. I think one feedback I've received from Laddick already is we should look at the CPU DRA integration, and yeah, I'll look into that part.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is, I was thinking, like, I went through the web yesterday. Maybe we should need like an explicit, tracker for everything we did for DRA, and like what's moving forward, what's we're still going to design and such. I tried to mentally gather all of these things yesterday, and like I didn't manage.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot. Yeah,
yeah,
do you think a separate board or something like we have for the web process will help, or just a separate issue or a document is fine?
um, I would start with the tracker, like with the separate issue that collects everything, and then if we need a board, we'll move it to the board.
Okay, sounds good. I'll work on that.
Thank you.
So what's the situation on the E2E tests for this?
Yeah, that will be part of the work involved in graduating to beta. So there is a way to mock a vGPU that or Shovel has demonstrated with the device plugin. The rough plan right now is to use that to create an end-to-end test suite with the example DRA driver.
Awesome. Well, it's fake hardware, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we can think of so there is also an optional, not mandatory requirement for beta, which is thinking about the actual hardware test since we have hardware already. But that will involve a lot of dependencies on installing the NVIDIA DRA driver and things like that. So I'm not sure if that is realistic um, for 1.9, but that I will put that as a stretch goal.
Awesome. All right. Well, now we're over time. So thanks, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Right. Thanks, everyone.